Welcome to Staying Uncomfortable. My name is Kaivan. In this episode, I sit down with Nate Forse, who is a personal trainer here in Chicago, also a life coach, and somebody that actually helped me when I was going through a lot of stuff in life as well. One thing that we talked about in this episode is about how do you actually get back up in life when your dreams aren't coming true. We talk about the techniques, we talk about the exercises, we talked about a few things that really could help anybody who really thought that that was their dream and they weren't able to achieve that. I hope you learned something from this episode. Enjoy the show.
So we kind of met like very awkwardly, I would say. Like,
yeah, you were trying to sell me some stuff.
Was I really?
Yeah, man, you're trying to sell me some RX bars.
Oh, that's. I wasn't trying to sell you some RX bar. I think I was more like, hey, since you're doing fitness thing, do you want to check out RX bar? And we started talking, and I started kind of following you more and started understanding like what your life goal was. Not understanding what your life goal was, but it was more about what you were preaching and what you're trying to do in life as well. And you and I connected, and
Yeah.
I was like, let's grab lunch. I never met you. I see you doing all this video and doing a lot of public speaking in terms of like how to live a better lifestyle and how to advance. And got to have lunch with you at Belly's, right?
Yes.
And it was our first time meeting, and we started talking about a lot more about life and the purpose of life. And at that point in my life, like I was going through a lot of things. Like I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know what I was doing. And I think the first thing that I want to start off by is like you talked to me about this exercise that has influenced my life tremendously in a lot of different ways. And I'd love for you to kind of explain, that exercise that you had me do, because, I still have that piece of paper. I still look at it. I still have pictures, and I still tell people that this exercise is something so powerful that it has impacted my life. And I'd love for you to kind of walk people through, like, in terms of like the audience who's watching this, like, what is this exercise, right? Because for me, I thought it was like, I thought everybody would knew this, and like everybody was doing this in life. But then I realized is that not everyone's doing it. But I want to come to a point like, what is this exercise that you told me, and what how could our audience can implement this into their life, and what are the results they expect out of this as well?
Well, backtrack a little bit. I mean, life is about learning something to teach it. Then, like I didn't invent the squat. All I do is pass on my information that I've learned and then pass it on, So you learn to teach. There's this constant cycle of this. And when you meet certain people who are hungry, like I gave that exercise to you, and I've probably given it to 50 people. And I would say 4 to 5 actually have done it, And that's kind of the way it goes. Like you look at sales, for example. You talk to 100 people, 30 will be interested and 10 will buy.
Correct.
3 will actually be great customers, 2 to 3. And I think it's the same in everything. Like you look any industry, any kind of sales, any kind of product, that's the way it goes. So it was an exercise that my coach had given to me, and I call it the 1550, because you write out 15 things that you're proud of, which gets you off of that negative mindset, because we talk and we think a lot of times of what we haven't done.
Exactly.
It's like, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. So therefore, you dwell on the negative, and what you focus on expands, And then you write out 50 of your dreams, because I think we stop dreaming. And I don't know when at some point in life someone told you couldn't do something, an elementary teacher, maybe it was your parents, and they didn't mean it, because everyone's doing, I believe, the best that they can do at the time. But they told you something, and you started to believe you couldn't do something. So when you write out your dreams, and it could be, I want to climb Mount Everest, I want to have lunch on top of the Eiffel Tower with the woman of my dreams, or whatever it is, you just start to dream then, and that puts you in a positive mindset. And once you do that, that dream world starts to expand because you're focusing on it, and that's why it's so powerful. So I just commend you for doing it, actually, bro. Well, I'm like super proud that like you took something that I had a lot of benefit from, and you've passed it on now. And that's what life's all about. Like you put a footprint here, a positive footprint, then you leave one here, and you leave one there, and you never know what that can happen and then what that can do.
You hit it on point, especially when you, as humans, I believe that we continuously think about the negatives. Our mind can so easily adapt to all the negativity that is out there, because with social media, with everything that's out there, right?
Sure.
It talks about like, why can I not be skinny? But people need to be okay being comfortable in their own skin. Not everybody is going to look like, for example, Jessica Biel or Jessica Simpson, but you have to be so comfortable in your own skin to be able to say okay. And I think your exercise, the 15 things that you feel accomplished, right, makes you feel like, man, I've accomplished a lot of things. But here's the thing: when I was doing the exercise, and when I was actually thinking about what I do want to accomplish, it was hard to come up with 50 things because it was like, it's like,
well, I think I got to 23 and I was like,
well, what about the rest?
Yeah. And then it took like another 2 hours to get those other ones down.
And there's also additional part of this exercise, which, right, that you talked about is like, now going back to those 50 things, right, 50 things, and really being able to now circle like what are the 1s, the 3s, 5, and 10s, right?
Yep.
And those represents number of years that you want to accomplish these goals by, right? And it was, when I look at that list and when I look at how I rank certain things in that list and being able to write down like, why is this important to me? That's even more challenging, right? I think it makes you question, it makes you wonder like, why do I want to accomplish? And if I want to accomplish those things, like, how do I get to that level with the mindset and create that foundation and the structure for me to be that person in order for me to achieve those things, right? And what were some of the things, like, you know, when you did this exercise that you had to personally adjust and adapt based on your exercise, right? I'd love for you to share some of those things.
Well, you hit it on the head because like it helps you get organized. That like, okay, if this is a 10-year goal, I don't really need to focus on this right now. And then it also helps you get organized from the standpoint of like, if I want to accomplish this in 10 years, I have to hit some sequential things along the way in order to get to that, you know? So it really helps you get organized, get you a game plan, and you're able to then kind of formulate a game plan and then go from there. I forget the exact term in psychology, but it's essentially where if you would climb to the top of a tree and look down at the bottom, you'd be able to see exactly how you got to the top. But at the bottom of the tree, you're not able to see that yet.
100%.
So what you do is you visualize yourself at that top of the tree, then you're able to work those steps back to where you are today. So say your goal is to, you know, create a business and make $100K a year, for example. You're able to work back from there because you can't make $1 million till you make $100K.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't make $100K until you make 10 grand. So you're able to sequentially then do that. And that, for me, it was really, really powerful to get my mindset focused, get my game plan together. And I have a coach I work with today. Like, every coach needs a coach, and he helps me organize my stuff to say, oh no, that's still 2 years off. So you don't have to work on that today, you know?
And, you know, one of the things that, you know, you say a lot is you have a coach, right? And I see you going to all these events. I see you like doing Facebook Lives, Instagram stories, and talk about your coach and stuff. But, you know, one of the things that I always question and when I see people is like, man, when was the last time you invested something in yourself, right? People want materialistic things. People want to get nice watches. But I really ask people that, you know, when was the last time you invested in yourself? And it shocks my mind that people have dreams, but they don't want to invest into those dreams, right?
Yeah.
People want to cut corners. Like, I'll be the first one to admit that I thought, you know, starting a business was probably going to be the easiest thing, or getting to $100,000 a month revenue, or any of those things. But it is not. It is difficult. You have to have structure beyond those things, right? In order for you to get to that level. And one thing I also want to say is I learned from you is the rule of 5. And here's the thing, man. I thought that was the most common sense that everybody should know.
Nope.
I honestly thought it was the most common sense that this is something that everybody would know. And when I tell them, they're like, I never thought of it this way. Like Sam, right, who's part of the crew, and I mentioned this to her as well, and I was like, Sam goes, this is interesting. This is an interesting concept where, you know, you have a coach that you work with, and that's where you get your learning, when you're learning and kind of understanding their thought process, then you're also teaching, right? So you're growing. And I love to kind of, why do you have a coach? Like, what benefits you, right? Like, I want people to know, like, why should everybody have a coach?
Well, first off, you have to be confident in who you are to understand that, listen, I have some strengths, but I also got some weaknesses, and I need help on those weaknesses to get me to where I need to go. So I'm a visionary. Like, I get really excited about, boom, this idea, that idea, that idea, and then turns out I got 25 things on the table, and none of them are accomplished, you know? So I need help with someone. Do you ever done your personality quadrant test?
Yeah.
So I've done the DISC test. There's the Myers-Briggs, all
Myers-Briggs,
they're all the same from the standpoint, it's just a different terminology. So I'm a high D, you know, and it's cool when you know that, because then you know what can help you. So I need high S's and high C's around me, very steady people, very detail-oriented people. They help me get to where I need to go. The problem is, and the challenge is that those type of people are going to drive you nuts.
Yeah.
Because they're like, all right, we got to do this and this and this and this.
And you're like,
let's go, come on. It's
Yeah.
taking too long, you know? So you are a product of the 5 closest people to you. And I forget who I heard that from the first time. Probably, I think John Maxwell said that. But it's like these concepts, as you get into the personal development world, you'll see the common themes.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying this stuff. You're like, well, if he's saying it and he's saying it and she's saying it, well, there's probably some truth to it.
Some truth to that.
So if I'm not getting the result I want in my life, I need to then look to people who are getting that result. So follow results in your life. You know, if you want something, find someone who's gotten that and then tag along, you know?
And results are, you know, what kind of drives you as well, human, right? I personally think Tony Robbins says this pretty well, is like, when you stop growing, you stop living, right?
Yeah.
As human, we constantly have to achieve and set up goals, and once you do that, you feel like you're winning, because that mindset and that rush that comes into your blood makes you feel achieved and makes you feel great about yourself as well. And you being, you know, an athlete since you were a little kid and playing into pro football and D1 football as well, you know, how was that adjustment for you from, you know, stepping away from the football lifestyle and constantly working out every day in the morning, and then going into this world that you were never introduced to, right? You've always been as an athlete,
Sure.
but now, you know, hey, I'm not playing football, so what am I going to do? How was that adjustment? I personally think, you know, a lot of people have that problem who've played sports, because their whole entire life, all they've been doing is practice, got to get better at this, but then, you know, due to certain situations in life, you're not able to play professional level, and now you have to learn something new to make a living.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to kind of expand on that, because I think you kind of had that experience in your life as well.
Yeah, totally, bro. But like, I mean, as an athlete, you're always being told where to go.
Okay.
Show up at this amount of time and then do this. Show up here and then do this. And I got really good at performing when the lights were on, you know, giving everything I have 100% of the time, you know. The challenge is being an entrepreneur now. You got no one, you're owning your own business. I could sleep until, you know, 2 o'clock every day if I wanted to. I wouldn't make any money, but you have to set your own schedule. That's one of the reasons I have a coach as well, because I perform well in that environment, you know. So I've had to learn how to create my own schedule, how to set projects, how to, you know, prioritize different things. And we're all a product of the people around us, the 5 closest people, you know. No one's ever self-made. Like, you might be self-motivated, you might have a lot of drive, you might have a vision, but you've had a lot of people help you along the way,
100%.
you know? And the challenge, I think, in our day and age is that we live in a fast food mentality culture. We want everything right now. I mean, you put your Hot Pocket in the microwave and you take it out with 2 seconds left. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people take when it comes to business, comes to fitness, comes to relationships. You want everything right now. You know, we want it right now. We want it to be easy. And I always say, if it was easy, we'd all be skinny, rich, and happy. You know, because that's kind of the false pretense that we have, that it's like, oh, I'm going to take a magic pill and it'll be good. Like, the secret of life is to show up every day and do a little bit.
Yeah. And
just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Look at where you've gotten, you know? I mean, I started my business 4.5 years ago, living on a couch like this.
And I want to actually, I want to transition to that as well, because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people that go through struggles and they hit rock bottom, right? I mean, I've hit rock bottom, you know, this year in January, and no one can tell that I was at my rock bottom, because I was able to drive myself to that level, and then I was able to bring myself back up to the level where I'm today by surrounding myself with people who had the thought process, who knew exactly how to get there, and being able to work with them and develop those skills. And I know your story because we talked about this. You were living on a couch with your friend and just trying to figure your life out. And I'd love for you to share this, because I think people take a lot of shit for granted in life. Like, people want that instant fucking gratification. People don't want to put in hard work. People don't want to strive for greatness. You know, that's why I have so much respect for LeBron. It's like, dude, he does not need to work any harder than he already is, but he strives for greatness. He makes people around him feel better, right? and for you, I think your story is so impactful and so powerful that you were at the rock bottom. You didn't give up.
I mean, I was a football player my whole life. In second grade, I wrote down in a journal that I wanted to be a pro football player, and I had a vision for that, and I accomplished that. You know, I played football at Division One at West Virginia University, and then played in the Arena Football League. I was out of football for a year out of college, and I just said I need to go play, and I literally took a job playing for $200 a week up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We got a $50 win bonus if we won. So I had a really good season after that year. And I always struggle how to shorten this story down, but it's my story. So I had to work out with the Pittsburgh Steelers after that year, set a bunch of records up there. It was great. It was a blast. Didn't get picked up by any other teams, so I went and played again in Milwaukee the next year, another arena team.
Yeah.
Was having a really good year. Was leading the whole league in catches and yards. And I was always told my whole life that I was slow. I was a slow white receiver, and I really valued proving people wrong. Like, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized recently that was such a fleeting motivation, because it's like, eventually you're going to have no one else to prove wrong. And this is why I'm so fast with a guy like Tom Brady, LeBron James. They have all the money in the world. They've gotten all the accolades in the world, yet they are still trying to become the best version of themselves every day. And that's what drives them. It has nothing to do with anyone else around them. And that's why they're great. And that's what I love about it so much. And I think we all have that in us. We just have to find it. So I bounced around the Arena League. Was pretty close to accomplishing my dream after that season in 2010, but I got hurt. I had a sports hernia, and then I had a broken ankle the year after that, and then I messed up my shoulder the year after that. So I was pretty much done, but I just didn't know what else to do. So I came to Chicago to play through a long, long story. Anyways, after Game 7, I ended up getting cut. I was selling insurance at the time and playing football. I thought that was kind of what I wanted to do, and decided I hated insurance. So the week I quit my insurance business, I got cut, I got kicked out of my apartment, my car broke down, and I got attacked by a Rottweiler, all in the span of 4 days. So that's how I started living in the city. My buddy, he offered me his couch in Logan Square, and I started working at a restaurant after that. I had to go back to the restaurant 9 times before I ever got a job. Got the job there, and then I started training girls on the weekend. And I met one of my mentors, part of my 5 people, and he said, dude, you started a business, you just need to treat it like one. And he became my first personal training client, and I just kind of built it from there, dude. And like, it's been far from easy, but it's been worth it. You know, like I wouldn't want to go back and go through what I've been through, but I also wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, I remember days walking into the gym, like bawling, like I don't know how I'm going to train this person, and because I got $10 to my name, and one bank account's negative like $1,400, you know, which ain't a ton of money, but at the time, it feels like it. And that's the cool thing about talking about investing and things like that, because whether it's $100,000 or $1 million, it's the same process you have to go through. It's just there's fewer people that are willing to go for that $1 million, willing to go get it, you know. So it's just been a daily journey of showing up, man. And I believe that my secret is my morning routine. I wake up every day and I start my day right.
And what is your? How did you adopt that morning routine? Right, like it just didn't. You just didn't say, hey, this is my routine, right? You probably had to take adjustment and figure out, like, this is what works for me, this is what doesn't work for me. How did you figure that out?
It was a process as well. This didn't happen overnight. Like, it was like, oh, so-and-so's doing this, let me try that. Or I hear so-and-so do this, let me try that, you know? And as I've kind of learned through that world, it's just been adopted. So it's pretty extensive now, but the cool thing is it's all a habit for me, so I don't have to think about it. It takes 67 days to create a habit. Mm-hmm. So as you start to adopt new things in your life, it just becomes easy because it shifts from your conscious brain to your subconscious, and then you don't have to think about it anymore, you know? So it's extensive, dude, but that's how I get myself right, you know?
And, you know, I want to ask you, like, did you, like, break down? Like, did you question life at that point? Like, when you're living at on your buddy's couch and you're like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get back up there. Like, I don't know if it's in me or not. Like, and like I've never been in that situation, so you know I can never feel what you felt.
Yeah.
But I can relate to it just a little bit because of understanding how tough it is to hit the rock bottom and come back up. And like, what was driving you? Like, you know, there has to be like that motivation that is like within you that drives you to get to where you want to get to, right? Like, what was that motivation for you?
Honestly, like, I just didn't have another choice. It was like, feed yourself. So it was like, well, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to feed myself. And it's funny because about a year ago, I was about to move to California because I actually wanted to put myself back into starvation mode, because you got to hustle when you're living on your buddy's couch that you don't have when you got a little bit. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not driving a Ferrari by any means. I'm not saying that, but it's like once you get a little more comfortable, that's when you kind of step off the gas. And that's been one of my biggest challenges to learn, is like to keep that gas going, to manage my energy, to rest, so I can keep going the whole time. You know, so, but I just didn't have anywhere else to go, so I didn't know what else to do. Like, I had been an athlete my whole life. I'm going from being one of the best at what I'm doing to now like living on my couch. It's like, that was embarrassing, man. But it was like something inside me. I had the choice either to go home to my parents' house in Pennsylvania or to stay. And I was just like, screw this, I'm going to stay. I took one unemployment check. I remember going back for my second one, and the line was so long out the door, I said, man, screw this. So, and I literally dropped off resumes to every business I could find in Logan Square. I'm talking about like laundromats, nail salons.
And you weren't ashamed?
I didn't have a choice. It was like, I got to eat. I remember I washed the ladies' windows one day for $10, and I fed me lunch that day. You know? And it was just like, I think it was a gift, actually, because it's like, once you hit that bottom, you're not scared of it anymore. Like, I wouldn't want to go back there by any means, but like, people who have made, say someone come out of college and they make 80 grand right away, 65 even.
Yeah.
You know, they're always, that's their even point. So they're scared to go below that. So a lot of times when you start a business, you got to give some up. People don't talk about this. If you have to give something up to get what you want.
100%.
You know, and most people aren't willing to give that up. They want to do this, they want to do that, but they don't want to give up their lifestyle or their nice apartment or the car that they're driving that they don't really need. You know, so a lot of people don't talk about that. So I challenge people as well to like, what are you willing to give up to get what you actually want?
And,
you know?
and you're 100% right. And people don't want to give up. They just want to keep taking and taking and taking, but they don't realize that once you start learning to let go of things in life, you can actually grow and actually expand your horizon as 100%. Well, right?
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to ask you is, you know, how do you stay motivated, right? You have your coaches, you have clients, but man, at some point, don't you get tired of working out? At some point, don't you get tired of working out? Because some days it's like, man, I don't want to get up and like, I don't want to go to the gym, and like, you're a health coach, you're an entrepreneur, you're a personal trainer, and you're constantly trying to help improve other people's life. So it's very important for you to be in that aggressive, motivational mindset, right? Because you have to bring it 100% each day and every day, because you're going to be impacting other people's life. So how do you keep yourself so motivated that you know that the other person is not even going to feel anything besides positivity from you?
Sure. Well, dude, I have bad days as well. Everyone does. But like, I'm able to get myself up. Like my training sessions now are my game time. You know, like I'm able, no matter how bad I'm feeling, to get myself in that mindset to perform. Like, that person needs me. And I think that's one thing that really helps people. You got to get out of your own way. You know, like a lot of times a goal might be selfish, and that's not going to motivate you for that long. Like I ask my clients, if your goal is just to lose 20 pounds, why do you want to lose 20 pounds? If it's just to lose 20 pounds, you're not going to get motivated through those tough days. But when it's a goal bigger than yourself and it encompasses other people, that's when it has true power. You know, so for me, it's just like, I'm not comparing myself to a Tom Brady or a LeBron, but it's like, I'm always trying to be the best version of myself, you know, and I'm also trying to lead by example. So if I slack off for a week, like, that doesn't even come into my mindset. Like, I don't even think about that. Like, it's a habit. So therefore it's just part of my day. Like, I'm thinking about now, like, well, I can squeeze in here, here, and here. So if I have 20 minutes, I get it done.
Yeah.
And it's not about having the best workout in the world. It's just about getting it done, because you feel so good at the end of it. And there's days I don't feel like it, but I also listen to my body. Sometimes I need to shut it down, you know?
Yeah.
So listen to your body, but have a vision bigger than yourself, you know? And when you're leading others, that gets you going, you know? Because in order to lead others, you got to first lead yourself.
For sure. You know, one thing I wanted to ask you was, you're constantly hustling, constantly creating your own schedule, and really trying to, you know, you have a morning routine. And one thing I constantly, you know, I worked in corporate world a lot of years, and one thing I constantly hear is that, man, I wish I can work from home because it would be so easy. You know what, after I started working from home, I think it's one of the most hardest things. It is not the easiest thing at all because you have to be so disciplined, you have to be so motivated, you have to be able to step outside your comfort zone and do things that you've never done. And you've been doing it for so long, right? Like, how did you learn to do that? Because it literally has taken me 4 or 5 months to figure out like how I could be productive when I'm working from home versus going into an office, because it's like you have to go into the office. You have like responsibilities. If you don't show up, you get fired, or you get right here. It's like you said, it's my own damn schedule. I can wake up at 12 o'clock and not worry about it. But how did you learn that process?
Well, I'm by no means an expert at this. This is still a journey for me. I'm still learning, but it's about having that goal that you really want to accomplish and then breaking it down. That's why I have a coach. He helps me do that, So to stay motivated, like I said, it has to be bigger than yourself. And then you have to break it down into the individual parts and then just get up and work a little bit on that every single day. And one of the things I've grown in the past kind of 2 months has been like really working on my rest. You know what I mean? That I learned that I can get more done in an 8 hours of focus day than 16 hours of drinking espresso and coffee all the time, and then you crash after that. Mm-hmm. So actually going home, like Tim Ferriss says, go home and watch an hour of TV a night. That's actually helping you to be the best version of yourself. So I take the weekends off. I take Sunday completely off. Don't do anything. I lay on the couch and watch football and, eat some pizza, enjoy myself and recover, So it's a constant journey. You got to hustle, but you got to rest, And then also for me, breaking down the goals, like when you have your own business, I don't have a 9 to 5. I got from when my eyes open to when my eyes close. And you always got something else you can do, but if you don't break it down, you're never going to have that sense of accomplishment. And that's one thing about the 15-50 exercise is you focus on the positive. Uh-huh. So when I've done that, I was like, oh crap, I actually have done a lot that's good. And I use an app called Winstreak. It's a free app.
Okay.
I'm working on getting it down every night. My coach, I'm going to get it down every night. But to go at the end of the day and track your wins through the day. And it could be as much as getting up out of bed some days. You know what? I got my workout today. I made my bed. Those are wins. Focus on the positive.
I remember this. Oh my God. It just hit me because when we first started talking, you were like, bro, I just want you to start off by first 15 days by making your bed. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I was like,
I showed you that video, right?
I was like, my God, like this is mind blowing. I was like, I didn't know this could have impact for, and based on what you said, I think people also need to learn how to be grateful for what they have.
100%.
I think people don't realize that just being alive and being able to breathe is a gratefulness, because having 2 arms, having 2 legs, I think people don't appreciate that. Like people take that for granted sometimes, and I think
the ability to even have a workout.
Yeah.
100. So Tony Robbins, I love this. He says, stress is the achiever's word for fear. So in our culture, we are always stressed out all the time. But we're actually fearful. We're fearful something's not going to happen. You're not going to get the job. You're not going to get the raise. You're not going to get the girl. Whatever it is. But what the antidote for fear is gratitude. So when you feel grateful, you can't feel fearful, aka stressed.
Yeah.
And anxiety is stress that's gotten out of control. So therefore, if we practice gratitude, that's the cure for that. So when you just say, oh, I'm just grateful for this air, I'm grateful for this apartment, I'm grateful for this clothes I have, I'm grateful for my skin, whatever it is, that focuses on the positive, and then you can't feel fear, aka stress, aka anxiety.
Because you accepted that I'm grateful for all those things.
Yeah.
100%. I'm actually doing that every day in the morning, and sometimes it becomes tough because it's like, I'll say, thank God for, I'm grateful for today waking up, and thankful for walking and getting out of my bed. And sometimes I'll forget, and then I'll have a bad day, and I realize I didn't do that today. Yep. And it makes me realize that what I'm grateful for. So, I'm constantly learning just like you and adapting things, and it's mind-blowing like how there's certain things in life can help you change your mentality and how you can help you excel, not just as a personal but in the business world as well. And we talked about a lot of things here, right? Your personal story, like how you've helped me get to, with the exercise and mindset where I'm at today. In our audience here, one of the things that I love for you to leave for our audience is that, someone could be who's watching this at any given time, right? Could be going through depression, could be going through abuse, could be going through any of the things in the world, right? And And if they hear your story, like, what is the one thing, right, you want to tell them that, like, what's, you've been at the rock bottom, and now you're training with the top athletes, and you're working out with, and you're teaching people, right? What's that one message you want to leave of our audience with that, you know, can resonate with your life, with your story, and help them?
Yeah, I'll just say this: you were created for a purpose, and I believe God created each and every individual person for that own special purpose, and He has a great plan for you. And once you understand that, then you're going to be able to walk in what He's designed you to do. So get right with Him first. That's going to be the piece that enables you to go to everything else. That's the secret sauce. So when you do that, that's going to be the first step, and it's going to lead to all the other things in your life. You know, the gratitude and all this. So those are tools, but if you don't have the underneath, it's not going to be the key that gets you to where you need to go. So I would encourage you to get right, you know, with your Creator. Go for that right there, and then take the next step. Find your purpose, what you really are meant to do in this world, and then get around people that are going to be able to help you get there. You need to be around people that throw gasoline on your dreams and throw water on your fears. And when you're able to do that, the sky's the limit. Actually, I hate that phrase. It's bigger than the sky. It's bigger than you even know, you know, because you don't even know what you're capable of. So I would encourage you guys to do that. You know, get right with your Creator, find your purpose, and then get around people that are going to throw gasoline on your dreams and water on your fears.
Well, hey man, it's been a pleasure, absolutely pleasure to have you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nate Forse. Nate has helped me achieve certain things in life where with his exercise and at the right time, not connecting with him, I wouldn't be where I'm today. And, you know, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate what, like, Nate has done for me indirectly and directly. And, you know, there's a lot to learn, and as human, we continue to learn each day, and you can never say that I've learned everything in life. So, you know, Nate, you're definitely made an impact in my life, and I know you're gonna definitely make an impact in this world. And therefore, and for that, I would love for you to leave a mark on my wall, and leave your autograph for me as a memory.
My pleasure, dude. Well, I'm grateful for you, bro. Just want you to know that. I appreciate you, man.